Police have served injunctions to members of two rival gangs in Birmingham, marking what is described as the largest gang injunction ever issued. 18 men, aged 19 to 29, including some incarcerated, are prohibited from entering certain areas of Birmingham and are required to register their phones and vehicles with the police. These 2-year orders aim to disrupt the violent rivalry between the Burger Bar Boys and the Johnson crew. West Midlands Police called the ruling a landmark decision. The orders come after a series of firearms offences in the city in 2015 and 2016, though the gangs have instilled fear in parts of Birmingham for many years. Their infamy began in 2003, when their violent feud led to the tragic deaths of two girls, Letitia Shakespeare and Charlene Ellis, outside a New Year's Eve party. 4 men were later sentenced to life imprisonment for their murders. The gangs have also been involved in numerous drive-by shootings, drug trafficking, intimidation, robberies, and kidnappings. The men made subject to the injunctions of the following: Naasir Francis, 19, from Nashles; Babuka Huma, 19, from Handsworth; Akeen Ivy Foster, 20, from Spring Hill; Ravel Hutchinson, 20, from Winson Green; Ryan E. Sutherland, 21, from Aston; Omani Bernard Sewell, 21, from Selly Oak; Lawrence Morgan, 21, from Nashles; Jerome Jones, 21, from Erdington; Jerome Christie, 21, from Nashles; Reel Phillips, 21, from Winson Green; Ushane Jeffers, 23, from Newtown; Kane Robinson, 23, from Spring Hill; Ashai Gray, 23, from Walsall; Jacob Brown, 24, from Handsworth; Cash Wallace, 24, from Winson Green; Ishmael Lee, 29, from Wolverhampton; Isaac Duffus, 28, from Erdington; Tesfa Bernard Wheeler, 21, from Hockley. The men are prohibited from entering the city centre Handsworth, Newtown, Winson Green and Lozelles. Letitia's mother, Marcia, an anti-gun campaigner, supported the injunctions. "I view gangs as pests in Birmingham, and any action to prevent them from spreading to vulnerable, naive and innocent young people is a positive step in our fight against violent crime," she said. "As I've said repeatedly, violent crime benefits no one. It only causes heartache, pain, and has life-altering consequences for innocent victims and the families of the offenders." Following recent gun crime incidents in the city, West Midlands Police and the Council sought to secure the injunctions through a civil case heard at Birmingham Crown Court earlier this year. The police had obtained interim injunctions in 2016 and chose not to identify those involved until the orders were permanent. The BBC later revealed their names after acquiring the county court documents. More than 80 individuals from the Home Office and police provided testimony between February and June before the orders were granted in July, which the police have disclosed for the first time. 2 injunctions have already been served, 3 men are still being sought by police, and 3 properties were visited by officers on Wednesday. The men are banned from associating with each other and from entering the specified areas. A copy of one injunction seen by the BBC also shows that gang members are forbidden from appearing in music videos that feature content related to the Burger Bar Boys and Johnson crew. One such video was presented during the court proceedings. Police visited properties on Wednesday to serve injunctions. 10 other men will receive the orders while in jail, where restrictions will be placed on certain visitors to limit any gang associations, according to the police. Among those set to receive injunctions in prison are 2 men believed to have been part of the armed response faction of the Burger Bar Boys. Ryle Phillips, 21, from Winson Green, was sentenced to 27 years last year after 7 people were injured in a series of shootings during a feud with members of the Johnson crew. His co-defendant, 23-year-old Ashai Gray from Walsall, was jailed for 9 years after admitting conspiracy to supply cocaine and heroin. Police said their actions had brought fear to people in the West Midlands. Gang injunctions were introduced in England and Wales in 2011. According to Home Office figures, 88 injunctions were issued between January 2011 and January 2014. The first gang injunction in the West Midlands was issued in 2012. However, solicitor Errol Robinson, who represented 2 of the 4 men jailed for the New Year's murders, criticised the move. "They don't change behaviour or address the underlying issues," he said. "Injunctions become a trophy and encourage rebellion. Gang members often like to show that they're not following orders, which leads to breaching injunctions. It's a cheap way to try to solve crime, but there's no evidence to suggest they work." The gangs gained notoriety in 2003 when friends Charlene Ellis, 18, and Letitia Shakespeare, 17, were tragically shot dead outside a New Year's Eve party. Birmingham experienced another rise in gun and knife crime in 2017, with 9 fatal stabbings that year. However, police confirmed that none of the men named in the injunctions were involved in these incidents. Detective Sergeant Ian Comfort stated, "This is relatively new legislation, and we believe securing final full injunctions on such a large number of gang members is a first in the UK. The injunctions are pursued in civil court alongside sentences given in criminal court for offences. They serve as an additional measure to help control offenders and enhance community safety." Superintendent Matt Scher, the neighbourhood policing superintendent for Birmingham, emphasised that the injunctions were not sought lightly. He explained that the police, council, and other organisations had already made exhaustive efforts with these men and their families to steer them away from gang culture. A former Birmingham gang member has stated that injunctions are ineffective. They're just a cosmetic gesture to show people that something is being done about gangs. But in reality, the results are minimal, if any, he said. According to BBC Midlands correspondent Seema Kotesha, former gang members interviewed expressed little support for the measure. She reported that many gang members mentioned that if someone is banned from a specific area of the city, they will simply move to another location and find others with the same intent to cause violence and disruption.